Welcome to Business Talk, presented in collaboration with the University of Rio Grande and the Ohio State University South Centers, from the heart of southeastern Ohio at the University of Rio Grande TV studio. Our goals are simple: promote the University of Rio Grande and the Ohio State University South Centers, as well as advocate local small business and their support organizations. More importantly, promote southeastern Ohio as a wonderful place to live, explore, and learn. There are many different ways you can find us. The University of Rio Grande Cable Access Channel 17, live online at blogtalkradio.com, and on YouTube if you are unable to catch our show live. Introducing our co-hosts, Jason Winters, Mike Thompson, Patrick Dingle. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to Business Talk, presented in collaboration with the University
Welcome back to our show. Jason, the last couple of weeks we have had some really good individuals from the University of Rio Grande come on our show.
We have.
So we've been very fortunate to have some individuals that are very high on the food chain, if you want to call it that. And these individuals are pretty much in the know. Well, you brought another guest that is equal to our other individuals.
I did, Pat. You know, one of the things that I've really enjoyed about the last couple of weeks is we've got to know some of these new individuals that are on our campus. When Richard Sachs has only been here since July, and our new president has only been here since September. And today, our guest has only been here since August. So I'd like to introduce our special guest today. It's Kara Willis. Now, Kara is the Director of Development for Institutional Advancement. Director of Development for Institutional Advancement. That doesn't roll right off my tongue as well. So, but Kara, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Please tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Great. Well, first of all, I want to thank you both for having me on today. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk about institutional advancement. Institutional advancement is something that has been very exciting for me. I come from a background of economic and community development, and really got my start with the state of Ohio, and started out really with, at that time, in the governor's regional office, and worked with investment and training programs. It's not called Ohio Investment and Training Program anymore. Everything changes names as it progresses, but got my start with community development, training programs, working with businesses, and really learned at that point how to establish relationships and learn what the needs are for communities in Southern Ohio. At that time, the governor's regional office served 12 counties in Southern Ohio, and I had the opportunity to work with a lot of the communities and work with economic development in those communities. Kind of switch.
Pat had to step out for a little bit, so I'll kind of move over into his chair.
Improv here.
So tell us a little bit about yourself personally. Where do you come from? And I understand you have 3 little ones at home.
I do. I have an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old that keep me really busy.
And you have time to work here when?
Yeah, right. Right. Well, this is my relaxing time, maybe I should say that. This is my getaway time. But no, I'm from Wheelersburg, Ohio, and have always lived in Wheelersburg. Grew up in Wheelersburg, and my husband and I own a small business there. We have a pizza restaurant, so if you're ever in Wheelersburg, Ohio, stop by Perry's Pizza Barn. It's a plug, right?
There. That sounds... Did you know that, Pat?
Yes.
I would have known that if I went to lunch, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They have great pizza.
So you frequent there? Not frequent may not be a good word, but you have...
We have enjoyed and partaked in their food.
Okay.
Well, we'd love to have you. I'll pizza's on me next time.
Okay.
No. My husband is a school teacher here at South Webster High School, in the middle school, so we get to know a lot of the kids, and I've really enjoyed seeing several of the students that he's had in class here on campus. There are a lot of students from the South Webster area.
So he's a Jeep.
He is a Jeep. We are Jeeps. Our children go there as well.
That is a really good school. I've had the opportunity to do some educational programs, they have a great computer lab there. So it is a good school.
It is a good school, and I'll tell you one of the things that makes it better. We have several alum that are teachers at South Webster. Our superintendent is a former student here at Rio, graduate, and we have several teachers in the elementary from Rio, and we're very, very proud of that.
You should be. What got you involved? I'm just curious. What got you involved in helping the communities and helping the University of Rio Grande want to acquire monies to let it grow?
Well, and thank you for asking that, Pat. One of the things that we do in institutional advancement, it is exactly what it sounds, advancing the institution. So anything involving financial advancement, we work with a lot of volunteers that volunteer their time and expertise. We try to assist in any way possible on campus with faculty and staff if there's a way that we can help there. We also get involved with our local businesses, our community, and try to make the connection back from the community to campus to not only advance Rio, but to advance the community. And I absolutely love that partnership. I love the relationships between people, and have always enjoyed that, whether it's in the economic development realm or community development realm, working with businesses, and I enjoy that here as well. And a lot of that is really the same. You know, whether you're working with a business to help connect with their workforce, you know, some of the workforce training that we do here on campus and at our Meg Center and MacArthur Center. We have very, very good students coming out of Rio, and making that connection with our businesses is huge, and I enjoy that relationship building there. And there's a lot of relationship building that goes on internally on campus. You know, a lot of times it's very easy when you get in your job and in your realm and in your program to really focus on what you're doing, but my job is to help connect those things. You know, Ian in workforce development does a wonderful job in connecting with businesses, and so one of the things that I've been doing since I started in August is really trying to learn from our faculty what are those awesome things that we're doing. And so as I go out and build relationships with our businesses and with individuals that have interest in Rio, what are those things that they may be interested in? So it's very important in institutional advancement that we have a good understanding of what's going on campus and stay connected.
Very much so. One thing, you mentioned Ian Blash.
Sure.
You know, I think I had to take a minute and just throw out a nice shout out and a congratulations to the Blash family. Ian became a father this week, Ian. You know, for the second time, and I know that has been something that's much anticipated, and we wish Ian and his family all the best. Getting back to your job, you know, we talk about fundraising, and sometimes when we talk about fundraising, that can be an uncomfortable subject.
Sure.
But one thing that I've noticed, you make that an awful lot of fun.
Well, thank you.
We had a very interesting, and for me it was the first time we'd ever done anything like this. We had a progressive dinner in November, and it was really a lot of fun. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I missed that.
Where did you get the idea for that?
Well, we were looking for an event. We were looking for an event to bring our current donors, our supporters, and maybe potential supporters on campus. Something to involve them, not your normal stuffy, sit down, eat dinner, and listen to a speaker. We really thought that in order to gain involvement, whether financial or through volunteers, or maybe just to spark interest in Rio, we really need to let our community see what we're doing internally. And our faculty, I'm telling you what, they pulled together. You were part of that. We had 5 different locations on campus. The reason it's called Progressive Dinner is because we progressed from cheese and crackers to dessert, and we went to a different location for each part of the meal. And at each location, we had the opportunity from hearing from students. We had the opportunity to hear from faculty, and I think that the attendees during that dinner really saw a different Rio. They saw a Rio that, you know, a lot of times all we hear about is the negative finance. You know, we need more money, we need more gifts, and it's hard to really get buy-in if that's all you hear. So I think it was very important for this group of individuals to really hear about the good things that we're doing with the support that we currently have.
You know that Rio has a lot of hidden treasures.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, my involvement here at the university, I am amazed at the different faculty and the different programs that are there. I know, Jason, you've been very actively involved in the Meigs Center and the Vinton County and the Vinton School, and I think the Jackson is looking to open up something. So you're very fortunate to see all the good,
yes,
all the pluses.
And I think it was a success in that those who attended were able to see, for example, we went to the Kid Math and Science Center, and we heard from faculty there about what the students are doing. We heard that 100% of our chemistry graduates, we have 100% placement, either in jobs or in advancing their education.
Fantastic.
That is huge.
Yeah, that's
Why
good.
wouldn't someone want to invest in that
That's
program?
right.
You know, and they were able to tell them about their equipment needs and you know, the student travel and the student research that they're doing and what they're doing with the means that they have currently. And so out of this progressive dinner, we did have individuals who stepped up and said, I want to be a part of what you're doing. This is such a great thing that you're doing on campus. I want to be a part of that. And we did have a very successful turnout and very nice gifts from that. And I do want to thank those who gave gifts as a result of that progressive dinner. It's very much appreciated.
And it's my understanding you're going to do it again sometime this year?
It is going to be an annual event. So
Great.
the problem last year, we had it in November, and we walked from each venue, and it was very cold. I think that was the coldest week of the year. It was 17 degrees.
Yeah.
And so I promised those in attendance that we would have it in September when it's warmer. So
Oh, very good.
we're very
Very
excited
good.
about that.
Yeah, as well as you should be. You know, I sometimes am a little bit confused when it comes to economic development within a university, and I know you're very actively involved in all different kinds of marketing ways that help people to really understand what is, you know, basically a director of development, institutional advancement. What does that entail?
As a development director of development and institutional advancement, my major role is building relationships with those who are interested in supporting Rio. And that can take on many forms. That can take on the form of, I worked with Ian and Dr. Johnston and talking with APEG, Appalachian Partnership for Economic Growth. In that form, it was more of the economic development role in identifying and working with APEG on a particular grant that they had to provide training to an area manufacturing company. That was an advancement. So really making connections and building those relationships. Another way is, you know, when I came on in August, one of the things that we really need to do is a lot of ground building. We needed to grow from the ground up. We have a lot of supporters. We have a lot of past supporters that have supported us in the past, but for one reason or another, maybe they've lost interest or we have not reached out to them. One of the first things that we worked on with our Board of Trustees is to adopt a donor bill of rights. And that donor bill of rights is very important because it tells the donor that you have a right when you give us your finances, when you give us a gift, we will be good stewards with that gift. And one of the things that the Institutional Advancement Office does is we make sure that the money that you give to the University of Rio Grande Community College is used towards the purpose that you intended, and then also give you updates on whether it is a scholarship that you have given. you deserve to have updates on how that scholarship's doing. So that's one of the things that we're working on right now, is to continue to be in contact with our donors, with our supporters, with our investors.
I think that's very, very important, because, you know, on TV you see there's a number of different organizations, and rightfully so, asking for charitable donations. It is interesting. I'm noticing that now there are advertisements for the military, for animals, and for a variety of different things, asking a continual support of $19 per month. And
absolutely.
who knows? Maybe that might be something to look at, because individuals do give to universities because they realize tuition only covers a portion, and it's really dependent upon other kinds of things.
Absolutely. And what you said about tuition only covering a portion, it's very interesting to note, and I've had the question posed to me, you know, if I am an alum at Rio, and I paid my tuition, I still have student debt, why should I give back to Rio? Well, that answer is very clear. The education that you earned while at Rio is valuable. Later in your life, you'll be successful because of that education, and because what you did with that education.
That's right.
And we have alum that I ask this question. I say, why do you support Rio? And one particular alum said, because Rio gave me the start that I needed.
That's right.
It gave me this
That's
start
right.
that I am now in a financial position, even if it's $25, $50. I'm in a financial position that I can give back to help another student. You're not helping Rio, you're not helping the buildings, you're not helping the faculty, you're helping the students. Because tuition and fees only cover, like you said, a portion of that.
Yeah.
They cover the basics, they cover the electric, the utilities. What's important to know is the gifts that we receive cover that gap that pays for the extra student travel, maybe to present a paper that you've worked on, covers honors programs. And you'll always see students on campus raising money for individual programs and activities, and those are wonderful. But we're always in need of that unrestricted gift that can go towards the area of greatest need at that time.
Well, look at the studio that we have. You know, Mike went from a very small radio station you can see in our previous YouTube.
We went from a closet, right, Mike?
And now we look at the studio. Well, someone had to have paid for that, didn't
Absolutely.
You know, it's not necessarily the donors as it was grants and different programs.
And I think it's very important. One of the things that we want to begin doing with the students on campus now is fostering that that understanding of what philanthropy is. And that can help whether they're giving back to Rio or later on in their life, charitable giving. I mean, like you said, there's so many avenues for charitable giving, but we really want to make sure that the students here on campus understand that when they're setting in the Kid Math and Science Center, that it's not just a name on the building. That is a person that had an interest in Rio Grande and an interest in their education and gave significant amount of money in order to further their education. And I think that is something that we really need to, in our office, we'll continue to find ways to educate our students, our faculty, and really promote with our donors. And one of the key things that we do is try to match up what an individual or a business or a corporation's interest is with what we're doing here at Rio, and then find a match. Because like you said, there are all different types of ways that you can give charitably, whether it's United Way. I mean, there's so many different areas to give. But the reason why people give, whether you always get something out of it.
That's right.
You always,
That's right.
Whether it is that warm feeling inside, or whether it's seeing the success of a student because of your gift. And we need to promote that, and that's what we're here to do, is to really make those connections between the great things that are going on here at Rio and what an individual's interests are.
Well, let me expand a little bit more about philanthropy. I know from personal experience that I've dealt with older people, and they come down to the end of their life and they realize that they have amounted a little bit of a savings, and they would like to give back, but they really don't want to give back now because they always worry about, am I going to have enough to get through the end? Do you help individuals with estate planning and gifting, you know, once they have passed away?
We absolutely do, and we have several ways in which you can support Rio. Obviously, we have our annual fund, which is an ongoing fund every year, and we really promote annual giving on annual giving basis.
Sure.
Whether it's a very small amount or a large amount, that's up to you. But we have other programs as well. If annual giving is not something that you're able to do, we do have individuals as well or corporations that give major gifts, larger gifts, a one-time gift, not on an annual basis, but maybe for an actual campaign or towards a particular project that we're raising money for. But another way to make a significant impact is through planned giving. And, you know, obviously these take thought, it's a very thought out process.
Sure.
And if anyone is interested in that, I would like to, if it's okay, to give my phone number in the office out.
Please do, and your email.
And email. My phone number is 245-7221, and you can also reach me by email, and that's kwillis@rio.edu. And I would love to talk to you about planned giving, estate gifts, including us in your will. Those are always things. They sometimes tend to be touchy subjects sometimes, but I think as an individual, those are things that we're looking at. And when you come to that decision, I know just recently in my family, my father passed away, and as we were sitting at the funeral home, the funeral director says, do you have any charitable organizations you would like gifts directed to? Because there are always things that you don't think about. I mean, people, instead of sending flowers, send money, and if you don't have something you know, set up, that it really took me off guard, because I thought, really? He didn't have anything set up there. So those are always things that you don't want to think about. But if you have questions, if you would like us to recommend or give you a list of individuals that maybe could help you with planned giving, we would love to do that.
And even in planned giving, they can still restrict their funds. So if they want to support a specific program, that money will go there. So even in death, they realize they're going to contribute in the area that they want.
Absolutely. We have several endowed scholarships that are in memory of an individual. We have over 400 endowed scholarships from people that give for different reasons, but several of them are in memory of a loved one, of a coworker. So these are wonderful ways to keep their memory alive and continue to help people.
And the interesting thing is, you know, if you have a term life insurance policy or a whole life policy, there's nothing wrong with making a beneficiary 5%.
Sure,
You do
absolutely.
not have to have complete turnover.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. There are many ways to support and many ways to give a gift that's going to be very valuable. Very valuable.
And like you said, every dollar goes to support a child, an education, and a new beginning.
Absolutely, absolutely. When we look at that, the gap there between what tuition and fees cost and what it costs to operate here, that gap is a student. You know, if you divide that between all students, I think the number may be somewhere around 1,200, and you know, but it's a number. It's a number. Every student can use your support, and we appreciate every dollar that is given.
You know, Carrie and Jason, when I went to college, undergraduate college, do you know that I paid $1,500 per year?
And I hear students say they have that in books.
Books, yes. That's and the point being is that, like everything else, college costs continue to grow and go, and no matter what an individual, what school an individual goes, most universities try to try to do their very best with the limited amount of money.
Absolutely. And the extras cost money. And that is, you know, when you give to unrestricted, you give an unrestricted gift here at Rio, your unrestricted gift is helping us to pay for those extras that the student is able to enjoy.
Kara, we've only got a few minutes left. What would you like to share with our audience before our show ends today?
Well, it's very important, whether you are someone who's thinking about giving a gift or someone who has given a gift, for you to know that every gift matters to us. And I don't say that lightly. Whether you are a faculty member, whether you are a student, one of the things that we have learned through data and polls is the millennial generation, the 20 through 35, 90% of that generation give towards some charitable organization. They have that mentality to give. They may be all under $100, but it's just that mentality. So it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what stage of life you're in. Any gift that you can give is important and it's valued.
You know, I can share from the School of Business's situation. You know, we have 2 trips that we try to do yearly with our students.
Sure.
One is to New York City. They visit the stock exchange. They understand the inner workings of the financial institution.
And sometimes you get to ring the bell.
Yeah.
That's
No,
great.
they've never rang it, but they've been there while it's been there.
I think the instructor, Roger Watson, rang it once.
But it's a wonderful experience, and I know our students have benefited from it greatly, but it's also a very costly
Absolutely.
experience, and not all of our students can afford it. And you know, this year specifically, we're in jeopardy of not being able to go because of lack of funds. So that's a situation where a gift like that would be very much appreciated and very beneficial to students' success.
Absolutely. And you know, we look at the big picture of, you know, why should you give a gift to Rio? But there are so many different areas on this campus that may interest you, from the business aspect of it to the workforce development aspect to science, chemistry, athletics. What we offer, not only just to the students but to the community and to the businesses in that community, is so valuable. And what the community and those businesses offer to us as a campus is just as valuable. And so that partnership is what keeps us all running. I mean, it really does.
Sure.
Our students gain from real life, you know, internships and through the community, the things that we can gain through that. Those are other ways that we can have donors that help.
Well, the building, the Bob Evans Farm Hall, one of the reasons they built that was that it was a conduit for the business community to come in and meet the educational programs at University of Rio Grande Community College, or for Rio Grande to go and meet the community. So that is similar to what you're talking. Yeah,
wonderful.
Great partnership.
Wonderful.
Anything coming up that you want to announce, or do you want to give your phone
Well,
number,
we
email
are
address?
definitely so excited. You know, you had Dr. Johnston on last show, and we are so excited about the announcement, the capital projects that are going to be going on, and that $2.7 million is going to do so much for this campus. But we do want to say, you know, there is always room for gifts, and we can double that and match that, and that would be wonderful. I know all of those funds are for capital improvements. For instance, the nursing lab, but we still have a gap there. We still have that gap. We need to train our instructors to utilize the equipment, and so there are always room for gifts. There's always room for the community involvement and partnership.
I understand.
Well, Kara, we'd like to thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate your insight and sharing with our listeners what institutional advancement is all about, and the role of fundraising for the university, and what a vital part it is here on campus. So thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Pat, what do we have coming up?
At 2 o'clock, we have a special show. We started something Mike Thompson, Jason, and I started a ongoing series of educational programs. Mike is going to take the opportunity to interview two of the students, two of the behind-the-scenes students, and get their partake of running a TV studio. And then Mike and I are going to talk a little bit about the upcoming shows. So I'm very pleased. I'm sorry, Kara, that I asked you to give 5 amusing stories, and we just ran out of time.
Oh,
so
that's okay.
we
Another
have
time.
to have you come back.
Another time.
And maybe you can share those. Thank you for listening. I'm Patrick.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Kara.